Hello, internet friends! Welcome to another edition of 10 books that I would like to have right now. I don't think that's the title, even though I came up with the title. And the lighting is brought to you by the floor, because sunlight is coming in, bouncing off the floor, and into my face. Sorry, I changed the angle. If you're new to my channel, which there's quite a few of new people to my channel, I do this series where I tell you about 10 books that seemed really cool, and also I get to introduce other booktubers to people. To you people. So let's get right on to it. That means I'm gonna have to move ever so slightly to this side of the screen. The first book I want to talk about is The Living Dead Girl by Elizabeth Scott. So the person who introduced me to this book was April Brooks. The Living Dead Girl is about this girl named Alice, and she was kidnapped by this guy named Ray, and Ray is a pedophile and keeps all his hostages in his house. I'm guessing Alice is just the one hostage, but Alice is growing older and has an expiration date, and so Ray sets out to find another girl to kidnap and to replace Alice. That sounds super creepy and heartbreaking also. April Brooks said it was a really good read, it's one of her favorite books of all time, so I definitely want to go and check it out. I really want to read this one. It's called Just One Day by Gail Forman. A lot of people already know about this book. It's basically about this teenage girl who travels and then meets someone, falls in love with them within a day, I think, and then they go their separate ways. I've heard only very good things about this book, and it's a young adult contemporary, so that's my thing. I don't know who I heard it first from. I think I heard it first from Kayley Hyde from Kayley Reads, I think that's what it is. Yeah, so I'll link her below, but I don't think she's a very active booktuber anymore, which is such a shame because she was an awesome booktuber starting out. I really want to read more Murakami, so I want to start by reading IQ 84. I'm guessing that's how you say it. So it's a 3-book series, I think, and I think the first 2 books are combined into one. So this is an ode to George Orwell's 1984, of which I did read and really liked. So it's more of a sci-fi, mind-bending, surrealist novel. Another book I really want to read is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Now, The Name of the Wind is not your typical fantasy novel. It doesn't immerse you into this realm of chivalry and knighthood and saving the damsel in distress. Instead, it's about this guy who lives in a fantasy medieval sort of world and has a normal life. I first heard it through the Book Owl, and I think she did a review on it during Veto, and that sold me on it. It sounded so good. It sounded like something that I would really like. And then I heard it again through TurtleSympathy, and then I was like, have to read this book now. Now this book is not really similar to the past books I've said before in this video, but it's called On Beauty by Zadie Smith. Now, this is more of an adult book because it has to do with adultery and family. Yes, those heavy subjects, because family is a heavy subject, according to me. All in all, it sounds really interesting, and TurtleSympathy's had a lot of good things to say about this book. So, I trust him. I trust you. This one sounds really good, and I think it's coming out earlier this year. It's called Dorothy Must Die, and it is another take on Wizard of Oz. It's really not another take, as it is just trying to figure out how Dorothy will live her life after Oz. So the basic premise is that Dorothy comes back from Oz and, goes back to her home that she's been wanting to go to for the entirety of that movie. And she starts to feel sort of regretful, and she really starts to miss Oz. She comes back with a sort of weird vengeance, and in the end, she becomes evil herself. So that sounds so cool. The person who introduced me to this book was, of course, BookishandNerdy. If you haven't subscribed to her yet, go check her out, because that is where you will find the coolest books ever. She is basically a bookster, a book hipster. How do you feel about that? That doesn't sound like a nice thing to say about someone. I mean it in a good way. That's a good thing. And as I've said before, I really wanted to start getting into fantasy more, now that I'm really into Game of Thrones. And by the way, holy crap, new Game of Thrones trailer. So another series that looks pretty good is called the Mistborn series, and the first book is called The Final Empire. The cover on this looks pretty damn amazing, first off. And second off, it sounds really cool. The main characters are a criminal and a young girl, and they band together to fight this evil in this medieval fantasy world place. That sounds really interesting. I love this mismatched sort of alliances and all the conflicts that come along with mismatched alliances. I first heard about this through PeruseProject. Again, another booktuber who introduces very, very good books. Ones that I've never heard of before, so go ahead and check her out, and I'm pretty sure you already know who she is because she has a lot of subscribers. This one wasn't really introduced to me by BookTube itself, but it was introduced to me by John Green. In some of his Q&A for writing, he was talking about the inspiration for an imperial affliction in his book, The Fault in Our Stars. And he said what inspired him to write the imperial affliction, like little parts of it, was this book called Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. So this book is a Southern love story, and that's pretty much all I know about it, but it sounds good. This book sounds extremely intriguing to me because it's about heroes, particularly superheroes. It's called Vicious by Victoria Schwab. I think that she made her name shorter. It's called V.E. Schwab. Again, this is about superheroes, and it is an adult book. And the person who recommended the book to me, well, not to me personally, but to everyone, was Katytastic. I'm not really sure who first brought up this book, but the last book I want to talk about is Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan. So it's about a bookstore that is open 24 hours a day, and that sounds super interesting anyway, as a person who loves reading books. I want to go to there. Yeah, I always see this book everywhere, and according to Goodreads, this is a series. So another series to read. Ha! So that is it for today. Tell me if you've read any of these books or want to read any of these books now that I've brought them to your attention, and leave them in the comments below because I'd like to read them and comment back. My battery's running out of energy, so I'm just gonna end it here. I will see you in another video. Bye!